You're listening to Ron Siegel's Home and Finance Radio Show, only on Financial News and Talk. Now live in studio, your host, local and national real estate expert and consumer advocate, Ron Siegel.
And hello again. Welcome to Ron Siegel Radio. This is the show with no real boundaries as we discuss current events, financial markets, politics, sports, even poking fun at the rest of the media. This is the show that connects the dots of confusion delivered by conflicting media reports. We connect the dots, the actions you can take on your family. Your business can benefit from current events. Most of all, thank you for joining me. Within every market, there are solutions as well as tremendous opportunities. You just need some trusted guidance. That is my message, and I will be delivering it every day. We're a very focused show. We only chat about items that affect the roof over your head, your bank account, and anything I feel would benefit you. And then remind you, if you ever have any home or finance-related questions, I am the consumer advocate looking out for you, and you can reach out to me directly. 800-306-1990, 800-306-1990, or ronsiegelradio.com. Just remember, that's the number you call anytime for assistance. When you call that number, it comes directly to me first. There are operators standing by.
Quiet, numbskulls, I'm broadcasting.
Well, I do have a great team. When it comes to developing a financing plan or plan to save you money, I personally work with you. Even if you don't have any needs today, save this number in your phone for future reference. 800-306-1990, 800-306-1990. And yes, of course, we are celebrating today. It's Red. Oh, no, that's not it. We're not celebrating Red yet. We have to wait until a little bit later in the afternoon. And then, we are in California. So, Cappuccino Day. I like cappuccinos. What do you say about Now, usually I like cappuccinos after a nice dinner. So at my age, it's decaf, please. I don't know if this is a family show, so we're probably not going to talk about Harvey Wallbangers. No, we're not going to go there. Parents as Teachers Day. I think we already did that. We've exhausted that one, so we don't want to even get involved in that at all. But something we are celebrating, and I did see an interesting post from a colleague of mine, a friend of mine, Jennifer Miller. And she put a comment on social media today, and I think it is totally appropriate. And I'm going to bring my friend Todd Halterman in. I see that he's joined us here. Good morning, my friend.
Good morning.
So Jennifer Miller put up a post on social media today, and I think it's totally apropos. It says, your Facebook feeds will be full of veteran supporters this week because it's the convenient week that many in sales try to capitalize off our servicemen and women. Always remember who supports our vets and active duty the other 51 weeks of the year. I wonder sometimes, I look at it and say, okay, November 11th, yes, we celebrate it on the exact day, is Veterans Day. My friend Todd is a veteran. Thank you for your service, buddy. I understand you're out there. You're out there sailing. Was it Christopher Cross? Come sail away. Was that the song from the Navy?
Yeah, something like that.
On
a boat, you can never get off.
I know. Yeah, on a boat you can never get. There you go. But here's my thought: is that I wonder. My personal opinion, and I can only give my personal opinion. I can't give anybody else's personal opinion, but I can share my thoughts here. Is Veterans Day, I get it that you want to support veterans and celebrate veterans, but the way I look at it is that should be every day. It should not be that it's just one day every year that we celebrate our veterans. If it wasn't for our veterans, could you imagine somebody like me who does a conservative radio show being able to speak their opinion in, say, Cuba or China? If it wasn't for the brave men and women of our military, I probably wouldn't be here right now, just because, there was a little war back in the 40s. They really didn't like Jewish people. So, we'd probably be speaking German here, and, my family probably wouldn't have survived. But it's because of the men and women of the military. So as we kick this off this week, don't make it a once in a while commentary about our veterans. It should be an always. And Todd's not quite the prototype, but in a lot of establishments, you can pretty much spot a military man or woman in their their haircut. Well, as long as they have hair still. Todd does. I don't. I'm not a military person. I'm just a military supporter. But you can there's mannerisms and things like that. You can really spot veterans. And my thinking, my personal methodology is whenever you can, say thank you. And I've heard, I had some veterans that were with us just this last week. Ray Perez was with me at an event, and he's reestablishing from Arizona into California an organization. I don't know the exact name of it. We're going to get more information. I think Ray's going to be on next week. And he's helping the most challenged of challenged veterans. That's his mission. He's a veteran. He's been incarcerated. He's thought about the idea of being one of the 22. Thank goodness he didn't do it. That would be 22 veterans that kill themselves every single day. Todd, I know you're extremely involved in this mission of helping people and helping veterans. But Ray's organization, they try and bring people up from the very, very bowels of our society. Veterans, they bring them up. And, a lot of the veterans, we don't understand. As a civilian, I'll never understand what our veterans have seen, what they've experienced, and when they come home, what they go through. It's just the way it is. But if we can get organizations, people like me and you that have not served, we can actually do supporting by, maybe we can be the grunts. We can be the one that goes and serves food or does the cleanup or donates financially, whatever it takes. But Todd, I know that you've had some events and you've had some real good success with this. What do you think? Am I missing the boat? Am I on spot? Your thoughts?
Yeah, this is a multi-layer issue across America, and it really comes down to hopelessness. A lot of these military people don't want a handout. They want a hand up. And even people that retire from the military get home with their spouses and they're not sure where to start their life because medical was in a certain spot. The PX was in a certain spot to get groceries, the commissary. I mean, everything had a location. And when they come home, it's an open book. They can go anywhere, but they don't know where to go specifically. So it is really a multi-layer issue. And many people coming home from the military suffer from different items in mental health side, and not all of them do. But the reality is there's not enough resources to assist these folks to transition home in a way that they feel embraced. They've lived a life of fraternal groups. Now they're home and isolated. And yesterday I was a sergeant in the Marine Corps and I was running a platoon, and now here I am applying for a truck driver job. So there's a lot of psychology that goes along with this, but being appreciated does help. But it's really having the resources.
Yeah, that's a great education. I've gotten a lot of insight and education from Todd and some of the other organizations that we work with all year round, not just during the week of Veterans Day. We like to honor our veterans during this week, but it's a 52-week project. It's not a once in a while or spare time, part-time project. It's a major. It's a needs to be a priority. I think that's the right word. It's got to be a priority for all of us who are thankful. I know that especially today, I share with folks all the time. This especially on election day, there are, and I'm not going to put Todd on the spot because I've done this with many veterans, and I know the answer is many of the veterans have seen things that we'll never see. They know of friends and compatriots that never made it back or did make it back and couldn't reassimilate. And on a day like today where it's election day, these folks went and put it all on the line, risking everything so we have the right to vote. I urge you not just to vote, because that's easy. Anybody can go out and vote. Heck, in California, you don't even have to be legal. But you go out and vote. But before you do that, go and get educated, right? Get educated on what the issues are. And whether you're right or whether you're left or whether you're down the middle or extreme, I don't care. But get educated and exercise that right that somebody else gave you. They put their life on the line so we can all do it. So my message is, before the polls close today, get out there and vote. You're listening to Ron Siegel Radio, discussing your real estate current events and the financial markets. When we come back, just as we went on air today, Josh told me that nobody won the lottery. So I want to ask Todd Halterman, being that he does help people with their finances, what should I do what should you do if you win? I'm not going to win, but what should you do if you win the lottery? What are some of the things that you need to think about? Because so many people, that's a lot of money right now. Every lottery is, but a lot of people end up broke even if they win the lottery. We're going to talk to Todd Halterman about some of his ideas of what you should do. We'll talk about the majority of Americans still view home ownership as the American dream, and how raising your FICO score may save you thousands. You can reach me anytime. Our off-air number, 800-306-1990, 800-306-1990, or ronsiegelradio.com, facebook.com/Ron Siegel Radio. And if you miss any part of our broadcast, Ron Siegel 1 on YouTube, Ron Siegel, the number 1 on YouTube. Stay tuned. We'll be back in just a few.
Ron Siegel Radio, your home and mortgage connection.
79% of all credit reports have errors that should be corrected through factual disputing. You could be saving thousands every year if your report was accurate. CreditSanitizer.com provides a free credit report audit when you furnish a specific $1 credit report. You can use this information to request corrections to your report and potentially save thousands of dollars. Get your free credit audit at CreditSanitizer.com. That's CreditSanitizer.com for a free credit report audit. CreditSanitizer.com.
You're listening to Ron Siegel's Home and Finance Show with local and national expert Ron Siegel. Now, here's Ron.
Welcome back to Ron Siegel Radio. Within every market, there are solutions as well as tremendous opportunities. You just need some trusted guidance. That is my message, and I will be delivering it every day. Mortgage Minute today being brought to you by our friends at Geneva Financial. When you're ready for that next home loan, Geneva's got the programs and the products. You just need to make the call, 800-306-1990, 800-306-1990. S&P 500 is now up 44 points. All the big averages are up, except oil is down. Wonder what that would be from. We'll talk about it. But let's take a look and see what the markets are doing. We've got the 10-year Treasury down 6 basis points, 4.153. Mortgage-backed securities are up 33 basis points. That means interest rates are down. And speaking of interest rates, every day at this time, OBMMI, they provide the most comprehensive, accurate, timely, and interactive analysis of pricing ever conducted in the mortgage industry, calculated from actual locked rates with consumers across 35% of all mortgage transactions nationwide. Conforming loans locked yesterday, 7.151. Jumbo loans, 7.055. FHA 6.92, the USDA loans at 7.051. That's for our rural areas with generally no down payment. And 30-year VA loans, the best loan on the market for those that earned it, 6.915. This does not tell us anything about what kind of points might have been paid to get there, but those are the numbers from our friends at OBMMI. What's driving the market right now? Well, first off, obviously, it's going to be the election. If the markets believe, and the betting market is this morning is coming out very heavy, that a red wave, the Republicans take over the Congress, both the House and the Senate. That's the betting markets overseas. And it doesn't matter which one it is. If they take over one or the other, it doesn't matter, because that'll put a pretty bit of a cap on some of the spending bills a little bit. Republicans like to spend way too much money also. And whether the spending is right or wrong, it's inflationary. But when there is gridlock, it can make passing those bills much tougher over the next 2 years, which would likely be well received by the bond market because it means less inflation. October NFIB Small Business Optimism Index fell to 91.3 from 92.1. Owners continue to show a dismal view about future sales growth and business conditions and are looking to hire less workers. They're still citing inflation as the biggest problem. The Manheim used vehicle value index fell 2.2% in October after dropping 2% in September. Prices are now down 10.6% year over year. The index itself is at the lowest since August 2021. And we know this line of item of the goods inflationary story has turned. So that's a good thing. Auto loan delinquencies, 60 plus days, have increased to 1.5% in the third quarter. And while this seems low, it has been trending higher and the highest in over a decade. So there's some of the numbers of what's driving the market. That's the Mortgage Minute, brought to you by our friends at Geneva Financial. When you're ready for that next home loan, Geneva's got the programs and the products. You just need to make the call. 800-306-1990. 800-306-1990. So I did it. I teased the idea of winning the lottery. But here's the thing. It could be the lottery. It could be a large inheritance. Our friend Todd Halterman is here. Even professional athletes. But I mean, I just heard somebody say about a quarterback for one of the SEC schools in college got a one of those new deals for $8 million. So think about that. If you're in college and you get an $8 million contract, what do you think the likelihood is of you having any of that money by the time you leave college? So Todd Halterman, you're the guru. You know, think about it. I know I saw one of your comrades out here in Southern California shared that if you win the lottery, call him first. What do I do if I were to win? Besides call you first.
Yeah, well, the first thing you do is you protect yourself from any outside influence or parties. Everybody in the world wants what you have, and when everybody finds out you win the lottery, you're going to have a lot of friends you never had before. So the first thing we do is we set up an asset protection trust to hold their prize winnings, to make them protected from outside lawsuits, litigation, creditors, etc. But what a lot of people don't understand is defense wins championships, Ron, and we have to protect the people who have a large sum of cash. And it's also protecting themselves from themselves.
What do you mean by that? Protecting themselves from themselves?
You could be walking down this road and you could be walking into a mall and a young little girl gets her fingers slammed in a door unnoticed by you, but you were walking through the door. You could have any type of incident at any time. You could be in a car accident, not mean to, but rear end somebody, and you just won the lottery. And now that person's out of work for life. And your policy insurance only covers $100,000 per person. So there's just many different risks that exist that people don't even understand the enormity of what they could lose by simply a small accident.
Interesting. Okay. So the first thing is that asset protection trust. Now, does that help me with am I just going to pay the taxes? Is that it? It's nothing I can do about that part?
Well, and in reality is the taxes are due. It depends on if the person that wins the lottery takes a lump sum or they take it out in structured payments. But the way the lotteries work, if you're taking a lump sum, that generally cuts your prize in half, and then you'll pay tax on the other half. There is one way to not pay taxes at closing, and that's to set up a certain type of trust that can hold the prize and then send you out the payments that you're due to get the money over time. But you don't take the immediate, 49% haircut that a lot of people would take for taxes.
So that alone right there would make a whole lot of sense. Now, does that only work? Is that a lottery issue, or would I use something like that if I had a large inheritance or a large, athletic contract or acting or whatever, any kind of a large contract?
Well, you get a large contract, a large sum of money. There's three layers to go. First is asset protection. Second is tax mitigation. And then third is, what do you want to do with the money? So how do you put the money to work in your life? And there's needs and wants. And most people go out and capture all their wants and they outspend their needs. which means they run out. But the person that buys that big, beautiful house doesn't realize that later the property taxes and maintenance of those 5 air conditioning systems and property taxes and landscapers and housekeepers, etc., adds up over time, which is why many people run out of their lotto proceeds and they end up bankrupt.
And I think I saw somewhere, and I don't, this might go back to when I was in financial advising, but the vast majority of athletes, even with these massive contracts, they end up 5 or 6 years after their playing days are over, that they're looking for jobs just to feed the family. Is that still the case?
It is. Unfortunately, you see a lot of pro athletes and people that came into money quickly not have that money in 10 years after they've received it. And it's really just, it goes fast. People don't understand the complexity of managing money. And if it comes fast, it can leave fast.
Yeah, you start thinking that, and it's amazing how in our society we kind of put people on these pedestals. So if you have no money, you're an idiot. If you have a lot of money, you're a genius. And it may be just the exact opposite.
Yeah, and I've worked with professional athletes who've made $10 million over 5 years, and they still had 5 when they were done. And I've had some that have made $100 million, and today they are working at scraping $100,000 a year together to live on.
Yeah, it's amazing how that happens. So let's talk to the next step, Todd. What's the board of directors, that household board of directors? What do I need if I come into a large sum of money, inheritance, work, lotto, whatever?
Well, I think a lot of families try to become their own head bottle washer, cook, and CEO. Most major companies or businesses that are highly successful have a legal officer, have a tax or finance officer. They have advisors around them that help them have a better life and a better business. And a lot of times small business owners or individual families alone don't want to see the attorney to pay them, think they can do their taxes on their own, try to do all their own investing. And the bottom line is, folks, every successful business owner I know has a circle of influencers around them that give them advice. And advice is just that, advice from the perspective that they offer. And then, of course, the families need to make their own decision because it is their life and business. But the circle of leaders is really just a collaborative way to have a tax person and a legal person, a finance person be around you to all tackle the same topics and actually talk to each other. My family 25 years ago had all those people helping them, but none of them ever talked to each other to help come up with a strategy. So you win a big sum of money or you come into selling something that's going to be a lot of gains in it, you need those circle of leaders to make sure that your business is structured properly and you won't lose what you got.
And ideally, in my opinion, you want to hire people that are smarter than you. Don't try to be the smartest person in the room. Understand that you can't compete with somebody that does something, that dedicates their life to something. Right? I can't compete, even though I might study the stock market or the markets. I can't compete with Todd because that's what he does. He's part-time. I think he's only like 12 hours a day or something like that. Right? But there's people that are doing this so many hours a day. How do you think you're going to compete with them when they're doing it so much more? They've got a circle of people that are filling their heads with all kinds of guidance and advice. That's why I'm able to go to Todd on a day like today and throw a subject at him that it's not really, we didn't plan on this kind of a topic. I didn't know that there was going to be a $2 billion lottery tomorrow, right? So I just throw this at him, and because of experience, he can pull these things out because you have people around you that are smarter than you. You're listening to Ron Siegel Radio, discussing your real estate current events and the financial markets. When we come back, more with Todd Halterman. The majority of Americans still view homeownership as the American dream, how raising your FICO score may save you thousands, all that and more. You can reach me anytime. Our off-air number, 800-306-1990, 800-306-1990, or RonSiegelRadio.com, Facebook.com/Ron Siegel Radio. And if you miss any part of our broadcast, Ron Siegel 1 on YouTube. Ron Siegel, the number 1 on YouTube. Stay tuned. We'll be back in just a few.
Ron Siegel Radio, your home and mortgage connection.
Do you know a homeowner experiencing divorce? Do you know a real estate reference and the divorce decree could cost tens of thousands of dollars? A certified divorce mortgage planning and real estate report could save you thousands of dollars, and it's free from your local certified divorce lending professional. Reach out to Ron today. RonIsMyLender.com. Again, RonIsMyLender.com. Licensed under NMLS 217037, Equal Housing Lender.
You're listening to Ron Siegel's Home and Finance Show with local and national expert Ron Siegel. Now, here's Ron.
Welcome back to Ron Siegel Radio. Within every market, there are solutions, as well as tremendous opportunities. You just need some trusted guidance. That is my message, and I will be delivering it every day on Ron Siegel Radio, or anytime at 800-306-1990, 800-306-1990, the real-time real estate segment today being brought to you by the area trusted real estate professionals of Ron Siegel Radio. Visit rsrhomescout.com, rsrhomescout.com. The majority of Americans still view homeownership as the American dream. Buying a home is a powerful decision and remains a key part of the American dream. In fact, the 2022 Consumer Insights report from Mind found the majority of people polled still view homeownership as a key life achievement. Let's explore just a few of the reasons why so many Americans continue to value homeownership. The financial benefits of owning a home. One possible reason homeownership is viewed so highly is because owning a home is a significant wealth-building tool, and it provides meaningful financial stability over renting by locking in your monthly housing payments for the length of your home loan. An article from Forbes explains understanding the potential benefits of homeownership helps individuals see the value of owning property instead of renting. Household wealth among homeowners is a whopping 1,469% higher on average compared to renters, excluding home equity, making the allure of homeownership even more enticing, unquote. Over time, owning a home not only helps boost your own net worth, but it also sets future generations up for success as you pass the wealth down. That may be why the Mind report also says, quote, most Americans, 78%, still associate home ownership with the quote-unquote American dream. And nearly two-thirds of Americans, 65%, see home ownership as a means of building intergenerational wealth, unquote. The non-financial benefits of home ownership, while the financial benefits of owning a home are important, becoming a homeowner impacts you on a social and emotional level too. As Mark Fleming, chief economist for First American, says, quote, buying a home is not just a financial decision, it's also a lifestyle decision, unquote. Your home provides feelings of achievement, responsibility, and more. 3x30 highlights the top 10 benefits homeowners enjoy. And a few non-financial benefits include providing you with more freedom and control over your living space, giving you a greater sense of pride, helps with community engagement. What does that mean for you? If your definition of the American dream involves greater freedom and prosperity, then homeownership could play a major role in helping you achieve that dream. While it may feel challenging to buy a home today as mortgage rates and home prices rise, if the time is right for you, know that there are incredible benefits waiting for you at the end of your journey. You'll have a place you can grow your wealth, call your own, and feel most comfortable. Like the National Association of Realtors, NAR says, quote, research has consistently shown that home ownership is also associated with multiple economic and social benefits to individual homeowners. Home ownership has always been an important way to build wealth, unquote. Bottom line, buying a home is a powerful decision and a key part of the long-term dream for many Americans. And if home ownership is part of your dreams, let's sit down and chat about how to achieve that goal. And if you have any friends, family, or coworkers looking to buy, sell, or borrow on real estate, can we count on you to introduce us? That is the real-time real estate segment, again, brought to you by the area trusted real estate professionals of Ron Siegel Radio. Visit rsrhomescout.com, rsrhomescout.com. Continue our conversation. Todd Halterman is with us. He is the financial guru. And talking, the last segment, we're not going to go over it again, but in the last segment we talked about, what do you do if you come into a large sum of money, lottery, inheritance, you invent something. We're not going to go over that again. But one of the key things you said there, Todd, and it's a big issue is defense wins championships. So
Right.
the defense can even be if you're not dealing with, receiving a large sum of money, defending what you have and trying to minimize that interest expense. Talk about that a little bit.
Well, when you say that again, Ron, I'm sorry, minimize interest expense.
Minimizing your interest expense. If you can get rid of those expenses, that are going to get you nothing, right? Interest doesn't get you. You don't get any value from interest. You might enjoy that product that you bought, but interest is simply an expense. It's not. You didn't buy the interest. You bought the car. You bought the house. You bought the refrigerator. You bought the fancy watch that you had to have, but couldn't wait till you saved up for it. You didn't really know. I don't, I lead a lending company, and I don't know too many people that go out and say, something, I think I want a mortgage today.
Sure.
Right.
Sure.
They go out and they say, I want to buy a new house. I want to buy a whatever. It's not,
Right.
I'm looking forward to that mortgage.
Yeah.
Talk
And
about that part of it.
Well, that's what we call in our world the cost of capital. And it really is the cost of capital means how best can I use my money and tie up that capital to advance my life? And is it better put into a car, a depreciating asset, or is it better to put it into maybe a piece of real estate, which is an appreciating asset by and large? So it really is about your credit and the interest expense, and is it deductible or not? And how can I apply the use of the money that I'm borrowing in the best way in my business life or in my personal life? And obviously lower interest is better, but how you're using that interest in your life really applies to the cost of capital.
Yeah, there's good debt and bad debt.
Yes.
Right. And we're constantly talking about the idea of how to convert that bad debt into good debt. And we're not going to give you tax advice. We're not CPAs. In fact, we're not even giving you financial advice. That you have to, if you want that from Todd, you have to call him and he'll do all the due diligence behind the scenes that he's got to do for legal reasons. We're just trying to give you that 30,000 foot thought process here. So what are some of the things that you're doing to help people get rid of the bad debts that they've got on their books?
Well, a lot of people are coming in and saying, geez, the market's been falling. It looks like we're going to be in a recessionary climate, worried about what do they do to prepare for this? And the bottom line is debt is what kills a lot of families from retiring when they want to or retiring comfortably. So we start with debt elimination, Ron, and looking at good debt, bad debt, and how they're managing that debt service. But one of the things I love that you and your team do is you look effectively at how much they're putting out on the debt that they own and what is the debt cost, that interest expense, and how are they managing that? And is there a more efficient, effective way to manage debt so they have more cash flow every month for the capital that they need to live or to be able to retire down the road? So your programs, and I'm not just saying this because I'm on the air, but I've personally watched how your programs change people's wealth and their monthly cash flow by reapportioning their debts to something that's more efficient and effective cost of capital so they can get where they need to be financially.
So I have a lot of folks that we talk to that come in and they say, I'm maximizing the money I put into my 401k. And, we've talked, I forgot, we just had somebody that Josh might remember. We had somebody just recently on the air that we were talking to about the idea that, they're living for that retirement, which may be 20 or 30 or 40 years down the road, but they're not living today and tomorrow and next year. Does some of what you're saying have, are you looking at that 401k and saying, are we putting too much money there while we waste money on bad debt expenses?
Sure.
Do you see that happening?
Oh, all day long. I mean, people, honestly, because the accountant doesn't talk to the financial advisor or banker, vice versa, people are putting money where they think it's best and it feels right. In our operation, we try to help people look at it from a scientific standpoint. And our debt elimination programs get people out of debt in 9 years or less without spending any more than they spend every month right now. And Ron, you're right. People direct monies to where they think it's best, but they don't do it in the right, efficient manner because they're not an actuary or they're not a doctor of science and math. In our operation, we look to see where they're putting their money out at, and are they over contributing to 401ks? Are they not putting the extra money in the right spots on certain debts? Are they managing the debt properly, or could they consolidate? So when they're talking about debts, it's more about where are they putting their cash? How are they applying it? What's the interest cost? And then how do we get you out of debt without you feeling broke every month for 20 years until you're actually out of debt? So our office really tries to help people come up with a debt elimination plan without spending any more than they spend right now. We simply help people move on paper where they're putting their capital on a monthly basis so they can be debt free.
Now, here's when I was thinking from my position as a consumer advocate, I love listening to you because I know that financial planners make money by having more assets under management. And you're coming about this from saying, hey, you know something, we've got time for that. Let's do it in the right order and get rid of the debts, which does not really generate money for your practice.
No, it doesn't. Our office is a SmartVestor certified office. We are an advocate for organizations like Dave Ramsey and being a financial steward with your proceeds. But it really starts with having a plan on how to make today work for you so you're stable and safe in your current life. Then if we can reduce or eliminate debt without you increasing your spending on a monthly basis, that's going to do nothing but perpetuate your financial wealth later and help you hit those retirement goals. But if we don't stop the leaks, it's really going to be hard to get the boat to stay afloat.
So when we come back, Todd, I want to talk to you about, can I catch up with my retirement savings if I drop my 401k contributions or reduce my 401k contributions? Now, I want to talk to you about that when we come back.
Awesome.
We're going to also talk a little bit about how raising your FICO score can save you thousands. All that and more. You can reach me anytime. Off-air number, 800-306-1990, 800-306-1990, or RonSiegelRadio.com. Facebook.com/Ron Siegel Radio. And if you miss any part of our broadcast, Ron Siegel 1 on YouTube. Ron Siegel, the number 1 on YouTube. Stay tuned. We'll be back in just a few.
Ron Siegel Radio. Your home and mortgage connection.
Do you know a homeowner experiencing divorce? Do you know a real estate reference and the divorce decree could cost tens of thousands of dollars? A certified divorce mortgage planning and real estate report could save you thousands of dollars, and it's free from your local certified divorce lending professional. Reach out to Ron today. RonIsMyLender.com. Again, RonIsMyLender.com. Licensed under NMLS 217037, Equal Housing Lender.
You're listening to Ron Siegel's Home and Finance Show with local and national expert Ron Siegel. Now, here's Ron.
Welcome back to Ron Siegel Radio. Within every market, there are solutions as well as tremendous opportunities. You just need some trusted guidance. That is my message, and I will be delivering it every day on Ron Siegel Radio. Or anytime at 800-306-1990, 800-306-1990. The Your Credit Matters segment today being brought to you by CreditSanitizer.com. You have a credit report and it's wrong. What are you doing about it? Credit Sanitizer has these solutions for you. Credit cards offer, quote unquote, pay over time installment plans for large purchases. Did I get the wrong? I think I got the wrong story here. Let me, we'll do this one anyway. Credit cards pay over time. Let's go back. Eventually I'll figure out what I want to talk about today, but we're going to get this right. While I'm getting the correct story for you, I do want to remind you that Credit Sanitizer, you can get a free credit report audit. Yes, it's free. It doesn't cost you anything. So all you have to do is go to creditsanitizer.com. How raising your FICO score may save you thousands. That's what I said I was going to talk about. Most people know that a good FICO score is essential for credit card and loan approval. Another perk of good credit, the money-saving potential. Because your credit cards play a role in so many transactions, they can help you save tens of thousands of dollars over your lifetime. Here are a few ways your good credit habits can keep more money in your wallet. Make home buying more affordable. Your FICO scores play a key role in financing a home, influencing how much you can afford to borrow and the interest rate you qualify for. You can save $56 off the monthly payment on a $400,000 30-year mortgage just by improving your FICO scores from good to very good. The smallest interest rate difference between the two score tiers would save you more than $20,000 in interest over the life of the loan. And I did do a study on a $400,000 loan, 650 FICO score to 720 FICO score. And the difference on that was $236 a month. Now think about that. That's about $90,000 over the life of the loan. Save interest on a new auto loan with the average price of a new car at $48,000. Some car buyers with auto loans may see their monthly payment top $1,000. A car buyer with a 620 FICO score would pay $1,052 monthly on a 60-month auto loan, while a buyer with a 720 would pay $906, almost $100 less. The buyer with the higher score would also pay $9,000 less in interest. That's bad debt. Todd and I were talking about that in the last segment. Improving your credit score before buying a car is worth it. Minimizing interest on an auto loan is critical because of how quickly vehicles depreciate. Minimize the cost of carrying a credit card balance. Credit cards typically offer a range of interest rates, with each card holder ultimately receiving a rate based on their credit history. Because credit cards don't have a fixed repayment schedule, having a higher rate means it will take you longer to pay off your balance compared to someone with a lower interest rate. For instance, paying off a $5,000 balance at 18.24% APR with $250 monthly payments would take 25 months. You pay a total of $1,006 in interest on the balance. However, if you qualified for the card's higher rate, saying 25.24%, and I see that all the time, the payoff would increase to 27 months, and you'd pay $1,557 in interest, even with the same monthly payment. You can also take advantage of a high FICO score by applying for a 0% balance transfer credit card. If you can afford to be aggressive with payments, moving a high interest rate balance to one with zero introductory rate would let you completely eliminate interest, lower insurance costs in many states. Some insurance companies use credit-based insurance scores, among other factors, to set your premium. Access money-saving credit card perks. The benefits of having good credit go beyond saving money on interest. You can also qualify for credit cards with perks that save money. Credit cards with car rental protection, for example, let you skip the agency's pricey policy and instead rely on your credit card's coverage. If you're a frequent traveler, a credit card that waives checked baggage fees is a no-brainer. Checking your first bag for free would save $60 on round-trip solo flights. For a family of four, you'd save up to $240 a trip as long as your card waives the fee for companions. Benefits do vary by credit card, so comparing a few of your top choices can help you size up credit cards and choose one that suits you. You still have time to save money. Don't worry that you'll be stuck with higher pricing forever. With healthier credit habits like consistent on-time payments, your FICO scores can improve. Remember to pay your credit cards the right way. rsrccpayment.com, rsrccpayment.com. It's about a 7 or 8 minute video that'll show you how to pay your credit cards the right way to maximize your FICO score, rsrccpayment.com. We're continuing our conversation with Todd Halterman this morning. Thank you for our Navy service. So we've got a Navy seaman on with us today, and we certainly appreciate it in this week of Veterans Day. We appreciate your service and appreciate all that you do for the military men and women, because I know for you it's never stopped. I watch what you do all the time, and the fact that you're not a active service member doesn't mean that you're not really still serving the military community. And there's a lot of people that probably don't say thank you, but I'm one that will. So thank you for all that you do and all the education you've brought me that I can go out and try and follow in your footsteps. Maybe that's get your oversized mini-me.
It's about welcoming them home and helping them understand that there is help, there's resources, and people do care and want to be present.
Well, part of the problem, Todd, and you've shared with me your methodology, is the men and women of the military are unbelievably proud people, and so many of them just it's not in their DNA to ask for help. How do you go about changing that paradigm?
Well, in the military, we're trained to help a person stand into our left and to our right. We're taught for selfless service, and we're not there for ourselves. We're there for our team. We're there for our unit. We're there for our objective. And our objective is to sacrifice our now for the good of our country. And so when you come home complaining or asking for help, can be seen as a sign of weakness, and it is a problem psychologically, and people need to understand why.
So part of that you've educated me is if you I had to learn this for my family in the world of dementia. So when my dad was going through dementia, I had a mentor say to me, hey, you know something? Agree and divert. And that's kind of how you deal with somebody with dementia, because you're not going to change that what's built in. With the military, you've shared with me, you're not going to be able to get somebody to ask for help, but if you can ask them to help somebody else, who might you know that need these services that you can bring to this event with us to get the services they need? You need to bring them with you. And that kind of changes where it goes exactly what you said. It's that man or woman on the left or right, as opposed to them going themselves. And by osmosis, they get some of the information they need.
Yeah, I mean, what they feel is real. Perception is reality. What they're going through is real to them, and what they need is real. So how about turning that around and saying, I know you're feeling this way. I know you're experiencing these things, and I know what that looks like. But how can you and I go out and help somebody that feels just like you do and give them the tools they may need to get moving forward with their life? And if they can take their eyes off themselves, oftentimes solutions present themselves to help others, and then they can actually follow their own advice.
Great guidance right there. Great guidance from you. And I appreciate you educating me on that. I want to get back to a question we talked about in the last segment also, Todd. So one of the things that I hear so often is, I'm going to maximize my 401k so I can retire. And we talked about in the last segment that, maybe you're not able to live today because you're maximizing that retirement. And I know, well, in Southern California, we don't get rain, but it is raining today. There's going to be car accidents, and there may be people that don't get to retirement after,
Right.
when there's accidents, and nobody plans that. But my question is, if I reduce my 401k or my retirement contributions today to do some of the things that you've talked about, getting rid of the bad debts and getting rid of the interest expenses, can I ever catch up on those retirement numbers?
Yeah, and every time I've done this analysis for families, Ron, it says two things. If you have extraordinary debt, it will keep you from an extraordinary retirement, and it will keep you from being able to have a free life in that retirement and being done when you want to. So contributing to your retirement plan is very important for A, to save for the future. B, it also helps reduce tax liabilities. But at the same time, where is your best cost of capital? If you're paying, a loan at 6%, and right now the current effective interest rate isn't 6% unless you hold the loan for the entire term of the loan. We all know the first 3 to 5 years of a loan is predominantly interest because banks charge interest up front. So many people are saving money in their 401k to make that 6 to 8% over time, but not allocating that money to getting rid of a debt is costing them 14 to 20% of their payments over time right now. So it's not about where are you putting it. It's about why are you putting it there and where is the best use of it. But let's just pretend we wipe out credit cards over a 2.5 year period of time by redirecting some of the cash that goes into the retirement plan to get rid of that short-term unsecured debt. Well, once you get rid of that unsecured short-term debt, which is eating you alive at $1,500 a month, then that becomes $18,000 that we can direct absolutely 100% to your own bucket to save it for the future. And that's that much more that we can save, whether it's pre-tax or a tax-free or post-tax. But this unsecured debt is killing Americans, and they're putting too much in their retirement, and they've got too much debt. There is a balance to be had.
Yeah, it's amazing when you start looking at how those actuary tables and the amortization tables work. It's pretty crazy, and most people have no idea of two different numbers. And I'm going to share with you right now two numbers that 99% of the people don't know. Number one, what is your blended household interest rate? Right? I hear people, Ron, you got me a 3% interest on my mortgage, a couple of years ago. But yeah, you're right. But your blended rate is 7%. That's what we need to work off of. So what is your household blended interest rate? If you don't know it, give us a call. We'll figure that out for you. And what is your effective percentage rate? We talk all the time about APR. I'm going to tell you that EPR is probably just as important as knowing the APR, the effective percentage rate. If you want more information on that, give us a call on that one, 800-306-1990. Todd, once again, I thank you for your service in our military, for our country, and for all the good stuff you do and the education you bring to Ron Siegel Radio. I really appreciate your time and always being there for us and for our organization.
Absolutely. And just let all the veterans know out there, Ron, that they need help. They need some guidance. Call your show.
I appreciate it. Yeah, we're here to help as we always do. And as always, I ask, set that first radio preset button to come back here and join Ron Siegel Radio, where we only speak about items affecting your house and your bank account. Thanks to all of our sponsors. A big thanks to Josh, who's engineering us today. And, of course, a special thanks to you for spending a little bit of your day with us. That's all for Ron Siegel Radio. Again, if you have any questions or to meet any of our guests, call me anytime. 800-306-1990. 800-306-1990 or ronsiegelradio.com. And remember, make a lot of money so you can help a lot of people and have a lot of fun. Have a great day. We'll talk to you next time on Ron Siegel Radio.